Hey guys, welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Some stuff has changed. I reworked this vehicle quite a bit. I widened the base of the wheel so that it's lower to the ground and it looks cooler. I'm not sure about actually decorating it so that it looks like a vehicle. I'm not really sure how I want to do that. But it's got two seats. The back one is attached to a spuddling gun because I did some upgrading and did some farming in the background. And I'll show you guys how I have that hooked up in a little bit, along with I kind of want to do a tutorial on how to use some of the tools, because I realize there's a lot of new people coming to the game because of this. It'd be nice to actually have a hello there. It'd be nice to have a kind of a tutorial on some of the different objects that you can use and some of the different tools. First, we'll go back to the base. Whoa! Don't you dare flip on me. I also kind of want to move my farm to another location because I find a really cool location I want to build something at. I don't know what. Thinking I might move that over there. Alright, we're going to hit this jump. I'm going to get some crazy radical air. I'm going to lag a little bit. Let's rock. Woohoo! Boom. Alright, and we'll stop there. Now, as you can see on the back here, I've got a bunch of different buttons. One will go left. Three will go right. And this one here will go boom and shoot. And this one here will aim it down. A little bit. So ideally, my girlfriend gets back on here and when her new PC gets built, I'm ordering the pieces slowly, just saving up money as I go. And eventually, her PC will be built. Right now I have the SSD, I have the motherboard, and the GPU. The case was actually damaged in delivery, so they're trying to send me a new one. I had to make a claim, and then they went through all that. So a new one will arrive in like 2 weeks. Ugh. I still need a bunch of different other parts, but I'm coming along slowly. Whenever I get money, I'm throwing it in towards there. And then she'll be able to play again. Be excellent. She's getting used to using a mouse now, so she's always, well, she's never really been playing games, but she really got into Minecraft, and now she's definitely into this. The only problem is she's using her laptop, and it tends to read her as clicking when she puts her hand on the trackpad. So she tends to pick up things like wheels or seeds and just send the car going flying. So it kind of became a thing where she couldn't play. Well, this actually show, yeah. So we've got the connector tool. The description: every mechanic's favorite tool connects interactive parts together. For example, a gas engine to bearings or a thruster to the driver's seat. So this is like a wire kind of tool. Depending on two things that you connect, it'll do different things. So as you can see, I've got a chair here. So if I take this chair and I attach it to just a bearing, it'll allow me to control it left or right using A and D. So ideally what you want to do is connect it to a bearing that's facing down. That way you can control the steering. See, look. See? But it's reversed. Another problem with this. So if you hover over the bearing and you right, like it says, rightmost button, it'll change the direction. And now when I turn right, it goes right. There's also some kind of glitch. I've got the seat here connected to the engine. When you do that, that allows you to use W and S to move forward and backwards. But that only makes the engine do that. You gotta attach the engine to wheels. So you take the engine and you connect it to bearings that are this direction on their side, and that will allow you to rotate the wheel this way. Essentially for steering, you're going to want bearings like this. You'll have one going this way, so it would be facing up. That way you can turn it left and right, and then you want a bearing on all four wheels, and then whichever wheels you want to actually turn and push the car, you just attach the engine. So if I wanted four-wheel drive, I'd take the engine, attach it to that bearing, attach it to that bearing, that one, and that one there. And it'll cause all four of those wheels to turn in one motion and give me four-wheel drive. Now these guys, this is called a, what's it called? I've already forgotten what they're called. Anyway, one of these box things. These here allow you to set specific things. So this first box here will always be the starting position of the piston. So when this one here, it's always going to start off at plus 30. So if I go in here, this is the starting position. 90 degrees would mean it would be flat, but plus 30 means it's slightly angled down. All right, then if we go back, when I press a button, that's the second one. And now I want to change it to 120. So when I press the button, it's now going to go 120. It's going to go 90 to the flat and then the rest all the way up. And then it'll sit up there as closed. That's how that works. If you're looking into getting gas, all you got to do is take the engine and hook it into the gas tank. And then you just fill all your gas up in there and the engine will just take gas whenever it wants. Okay, so this one here is strictly just one thing. One button goes into it, and it's going to turn it 90 degrees. So whenever I press this button, it's going to turn it 90 degrees, opening the door. Eventually I'll have it hooked up to the other one, but you don't need to. I just do it because I want to. This here is called a logic box. I do not fully understand what all of these mean. And means if you have two buttons, the first one and the second one have to be pressed, or however they are, they all have to be pressed, or means the first one or the second one or the third one or whatever. XNOR means, I don't know, same with the rest of these, I just kind of press them until it works. But there is a picture online that shows what each one of these does a little bit more. Essentially what I have that hooked up to is there's a button here, and there's a button here. Both the buttons go into here. It says X or that. So essentially if I press one or the other of those buttons, it's going to send a signal down into this guy. And this guy, I have it set to 90 and 90. The reason why it's like that is because one of my bearings is backwards. Fine. You can adjust the speed in which it does it. Turn it up fast. You can set it to loop, which is not a good idea for a door. But anyway, so it goes into there, and that's going to tell it where it wants to move. And what that's going to do is tell these two bearings to turn. So if I press a button, one of the two, it's going to turn the bearings and open the door, which will allow us in. I also have that box there hooked up to the lights, as you can see there. So that when I do press the buttons, the lights turn on as well. That's pretty much it for this tool. It's essentially just the connector. It's probably best to make one of each item. Just kind of lay it out on the floor and just tinker with it. Maybe look at some tutorials on how different things work. Good way to learn things. As for progress, you're probably going to start off by hitting trees. These trees you can break with a hammer. The small trees you can break with the hammer. The big trees like that one you cannot break with the hammer. You need one of these guys here, which is a saw. Which again, I have it hooked up to a bearing that turns it around that way, and I have it hooked up to another engine. I'm using a scrap engine because scrap engines are really cheap to make, and they work perfectly fine. And both of them are hooked up to this refinery. So essentially, if you have any like loose wood or loose metal from the stones you can break, if you put it near one of these, it's gonna grind it up. And the best thing to do that is to get one of these guys, the refineries, not the refineries, the collectors. If one of these guys is near broken tree parts, broken rock parts, the raw resources from those, it's going to scoop it up and store it in this thing. So I want to show you how that works by using my saw. I can cut this one. I like to cut the bottom of them because it makes things a little bit better. And now that it's down, as you can see, it's broken into small parts. You cannot get resources from those parts. You have to break it down even more. So, and we'll turn on the saw. And can we hit these? No, that's why I allowed you to drop it. And we'll go like that. And notice when we get close enough, that thing is actually going to pick it up. See, there's one in the back now. I'm going to grab these ones, it's going to pick those ones up. And there we go. That's going to pick these guys up. And Come on. I'll turn those off, and when we drive up here, that picks up all of those. And then once we get close to it, we'll lower it down, and now it's gonna pull it in and refine it. See? That's gonna grind it up, and now I also have a little tube. So this here has an output. If you don't have an output, it'll just store some of the wood in there until it gets to a stack, then you have to pull it out. But I have this tube crafted. It goes up into all the chests that were up there. So it crafts it, or it breaks it down, and then it spits it out. It goes up through there, and then goes into those. I've also got some spare parts lying around here. If you need any more help, please comment, and I'll try and help you out. Ooh, these are loot chests. Immediately one spawn in here, they spawn random things. Farming, you get like, where are some? Do I even have any? Yes, I do right there. You get these little things. If you place them on floors or on a wall or a tree, they're just the bags, but if you place them on the ground, they become a soil plot. With the soil plot, you can plant any of the seeds you find, but you have to water them. So, go near the water, and just throw a bunch of water up in there. Now, if you're not close to the water, you can just walk up and splash it. Or if you really want to get technical, saw blades actually scare away bots. If you plant a certain amount of, I guess the crops have different levels, and depending on the level and how many you plant, robots will show up to attack it. Saw blades scare them off, so if you have a bunch of saw blades outlining it, they'll come up and they'll be like, whoa, what's going on? Whoa, I don't want to go there. And they won't come in and actually destroy your stuff, and you can just kind of sit here and attack them as they come close. Or you can get saw blades and turn them on and just let them get ground up. We had a toilet with a duck. If you really want to get into farming, you can do cool stuff like this. So water cannons specifically deal with water. If you take a water cannon and you hook it up to one of these water containers, it's going to pull the water from that, and it's going to shoot the water wherever the cannon's pointed. So what you do is you get one of these things to continually suck up water by attaching a button to that, and then if you press E on it, see how it's going two different ways? If you make it so the arrow is pointing up, it's going to pull. It's just going to continue pulling water in, which means you'll have infinite water for this kind of stuff. Approach. Nothing over here attacking the scissor. Nope. Oh, hello. Like that. Oh, there's some heads over there. I'll have to pick them up. Stop that. The game is really glitchy, as you can see, and it's going to randomly do stuff like that. As you can see, I've got an automatic water. So this is a mess of stuff. But essentially what I have is two things that are OR. So if this button presses, it activates it. If this button presses, it activates it. And those are hooked up to these things, which are sensors, which means if something comes in front of it, it's going to send out a signal, which is going to then tell this thing to do whatever it needs to do. I've got pistons, 1, 2, 3 of them. So essentially this one here is connected to the pistons. Whenever power goes into that, the pistons are going to extend in the order that I have them set. Same with this other one. This one here, when power goes into that, that one's going to extend, and that thing's going to start turning. As you can see, there's a sensor here that is sensing that. Essentially what I've done is, when this thing turns, it just makes this sensor go on, off, and whenever it goes on, off, it sends a power to this water cannon. So it goes on, it shoots, off, it shoots. Essentially, it just waters by doing that. And there's the pistons that just extend and move it whenever I want it to. So I've got sensor here. When it hits here, it's going to extend it out, and right here. So it's going to extend this out. It's going to hit that, which will pull it back. As you can see, it hits it, and then it pulls it back. So if I press the button, it's going to power these pistons. It's going to stop, and when this thing hits something, it detects it, it comes out. The spinny thing tells it when to shoot. Detects it, it goes back. And then the next one will fire in a little bit because I have it timed. That one goes up, and then it hits the next spot. It goes forward, And then it's gonna go ding and come back. Missed that one, but it should get it now. Oh, we missed that one. Oh well. Hits the next one, goes forward. There we go. And that one's water, and then we come back. And now it just kind of keeps going like that until I bring it back. And then I can bring it back. And now I'm hoping that it'll get that last one. Will it get that last one? No, it didn't get that one. Sometimes it misses them, that's okay. But as you can see, it watered all of them. Now you could also hook one of those pumps up to here with a chest attached to the top of it and fill the chest with seeds and have the pump pointing down so that it shoots out. So whenever it goes over this, it waters it, and the next one triggers and it shoots out a seed, which will do that. And then you can have another pump where it's pulling in so that when the crop's all grown up, when the thing goes over it, it'll pull up everything that's grown. That's way more complicated, so it's just looking up some tutorials on that one. Is remove this piston. Another thing you can do actually is you connected to, I don't even know, you connected to the center one. There. But now I can go like this, get out of here, and that comes unattached. That goes there. And now I can rebuild this part. I don't know why it does that, but it does. But you know, it kind of works because now I can show you another tool. There. So this is called a welding tool. You can only weld things when they are not actually attached to something. Like I can't weld this because it's a structure. I can weld that, do this. I click on a block, and then I click on a block there and I weld it to there, but I don't want to do that. I'm looking to do this. So I'm going to take the inside here and we're going to weld it to at the entrance. I don't think that's the entrance. The button should be in the front. I really dislike how the, so I think it's there. There, so that welded that, and now I should be able to go like this. Be able to connect this. So this guy is connected to that blue guy. So this blue guy, you can see through walls. Now, yes, it works. Genius. All right, and now we're back in here. And this is what the gas station looks like. This will most likely be where your first base is. So when you first come in here, oh, don't let him attack me. No, stop that. When you first come in here, you're gonna want to sleep in 3 or 1. Number 2 will always have one of these guys spawn in it. So don't, stop attacking my stuff. You leave my tires alone. Those guys like to break tires. And they drop spines. And the spines you can refine. Or you can go buy with the refinery. Or no, the thing that picks them up. And it picks up logs and stuff, but it also picks up spines. You break anything. You did not break anything. Good. So we're gonna pull on up in here. Close to there. And I craft this. No, I need 50 of those ones. One's attacking. One's attacking. Alright, let's craft this guy. And we'll go like this. We'll go down to you. Eventually we'll get the cooking bot. This is where you craft things like the refinery bot, the resource collector, and the main one. So you come here, you'll get the battery, you plug it in, and you can craft the bigger ones. We're here for you. Oh yeah. And boom. 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 Look at this guy. Pick him up. Put him on the back here. If I can get up there. I should have lowered the thing. He's stuck. There, okay, we'll put him right there. Good. And I don't have any lights, so this will be a fun drive home. But since we have all the upgraded shocks and stuff, we can actually carry him. If I were to put this on the other one, the back end would just sink. Haha, you can't catch me. Alright, what did we unlock? Unbox. We unlocked. Cool. Pick that up. We do. Oh, good. These guys are small. I like that. Gloves are good. The legs are cool. Shoes. The fixed ones. Then we got those fixed. Look at these red ones. I like that look. There we go. Ready to roll. Pow. Anyway, that's gonna conclude this episode. It's been like an hour. I will see you guys in the next one.